So despite the massive economic impact of Hurricane Melissa, Jamaica's economy has shown remarkable resilience, I'm told. However, the underspending of the capital budget is a cause for concern. Fiscal Commissioner, Independent Fiscal Commission, Mr. Courtney Williams, joins us now to talk to us about all of that. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Smile.
Good morning, Neville. Good morning, Simone. And good morning to all your viewers and listeners.
Yeah, man, I think I kind of said two different things just now. One, the economy was all right, and then underspending is two different things. But before we go there, what is your role, sir, as a Fiscal Commissioner? What does that mean?
Okay, so the Fiscal Commissioner, I am in charge of the Independent Fiscal Commission, and it's an independent body that provides oversight of government's fiscal operations. And that is important to stress that. So the government will undertake various programs. The government will present a budget indicating how your tax dollars will be spent. So what I do and what my institution does is to assess the government's policy. We look at the numbers and opine as to whether or not these are credible. So in other words, Neville, you would have seen where the minister would have presented the budget back in February. And in that budget, several numbers. I'm sure sometimes you may be confused when you hear all these numbers. But you don't have to do the maths. We do the maths for you and tell you whether or not these add up.
Some people might not understand that word fiscal. What does that mean?
Fiscal, it's the government policy and operations with respect to its revenue, its taxes, and how it spends its money.
Money.
Exactly.
So you would be established on whose authority, on whose, or the body just comes together literally independently?
It's a commission of parliament, which means that the reporting is to the parliament.
Gotcha.
They don't come under any ministry.
Okay.
So the appointment is by the Governor General and reporting directly to parliament. So hence ensuring that independence of the institution.
Okay. So there are some highlights coming out of the report, some indicators that, you know, there's, I was reading some interesting, that some of the results are showing better outcomes than we thought post-Melissa. You want to highlight those for us? Macro GDP growth, but then there are some areas that are concerning.
Right, so we had this monstrous event, Hurricane Melissa, caused significant devastation across the country, both in terms of the infrastructure, to lives, to livelihood, and estimated almost $2 trillion Jamaican dollars in damage. So after Melissa, the government would have done its assessment, and those assessments informed a certain budget. So right after Melissa, what we would have seen with the destruction to agriculture, for example, prices shot up. I mean, if you had gone to the supermarket or to the market then, or even just hearing from your colleagues, you'd have heard what was happening to prices, yam, banana, pepper, sorrel, all those things. So the government had anticipated, based on what they observed at the time, there would have been a certain level of inflation. The estimated inflation at about 10%. That's what inflation would be estimated for fiscal year 25-26.
That's high, right?
That's high.
Super high.
It's super high.
Usually single digit.
It's usually single digit, and there's a target band for the Bank of Jamaica, 4% to 6%. So that was the expectation, anticipation, the projection based on what was observed at the time. Also, given the devastation to several sectors, I mean, tourism, agriculture, if you look at, fisheries, right across the board, especially in those areas in Western and Central Jamaica. So it was expected that the economy would have declined sharply. At the time, the estimate was about 4.5%, that there would be a decline in the economy. In other words, we would have produced way less than we produced the year before. So those were the numbers that informed the budget. Few months after, the outcome was actually better than those projections. And why was that? Well, it just is a testament to the resilience of the Jamaican people and the Jamaican economy. The farmers didn't sit around waiting for any handouts or anything like that to get back into the field. They got back quickly. You would have seen by around January, those prices actually started to decline. So there were products again in the market.
So in surplus, some of them.
In surplus in some instances. So as a result, So the price increases and the levels that were anticipated at the time, it actually didn't materialize. Give it a rebound, hence inflation turned out to not 10%, just a little over 4%. That was a significant improvement. The economy didn't fall out by almost 5% that was expected. The contraction was under 2%.
Really?
And even the debt, where the government had expected an increase, a certain level of increase in the debt, that didn't materialize. It increased, yes, but at a much lower level than was anticipated. Since the overall picture is actually better than that was expected right after Hurricane Melissa.
At the top, I said the underspending of the capital budget is a cause for concern. Talk to me about that one.
Right, so there are two ways to look at this. Two ways to look at Neville and Simone. And I know Simone will get excited about this one. More so than Neville. Because when Simone hears about football, I know I was just watching the quiz just now.
I'm being trolled. I don't understand.
So a few weeks ago, a colleague, one of my colleagues, so this little man predicted that PSG would demolish Arsenal 5-1 in the Champions League final. And he doubled down on it, 5-1. So at the end of the game, 1-1, at the end of regulation and extra time, 1-1. What did the little man say? PSG underperformed. They failed to execute. Was that really the case? No. It wasn't an underperformance by PSG. I think his forecasts were just overly optimistic. Okay. It was just way off.
Point made.
So why am I saying this? So the capital budget, at the start of the budget year, when the government tabled the budget last year, it projected and allocated about $162 billion for the capital expenditure. That was coming from about 90-odd billion the year before.
And to be clear, CapEx now is the money you need to buy big ticket
the big ticket, the infrastructure, right. Your road, your school, hospitals, police stations, those kind of investment. That's what the capital budget is. So it was a significant increase in the budget from about 90-odd billion to over 160. One of our roles as the Fiscal Commission is to review, as I said earlier, we do the maths for you. When we review that, we in our report back then last year, March, we indicated that this was overly ambitious to expect such a significant increase. And I just using that to just oppose against the forecast with PSG. So that was the first thing. We thought it was too ambitious and we wouldn't actually have that level of capital expenditure. So the shortfall that we saw here at the end of the year of 57 billion, was it a real shortfall? Some of it was, for me, was actually expected. So that's one part of the What I'm saying is that it starts with have a realistic budget, have a realistic forecast as to what will happen. The second point to that is, given the shortfall, what does it mean for the people? This delay in expenditure is actually a denial in some sort of service to the people. Mm-hmm. If the government fails to, or there's any delay in undertaking the road projects, fixing the road, it means that the people will be denied service for that period.
Does that 57 billion roll over?
Well, not strictly roll over, but some of those projects that may have been projected that year and not done, some of it will actually
over
this year.
Okay.
All right, so we have to go. Well explained. Very well explained. And thanks for coming, sir.
And I must say, Neville, I actually have a calendar here, which I want to present to you folks. A lot of information you can get from this in terms of what the Fiscal Commission does and summarize much of what we have just said and what is actually in the report.
Okay. We live in the same place, so one good enough.
No, stop your foolishness. What is wrong with you? Stop. Why do you...
And we also have this one is the George's color.
Yes, sir.
So this one is for Neville.
Thank you, sir.
And Simone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams.
We could have shared that too, because
Mr. Williams' shoes
we're in the
next to you.
same place. I love it.
Don't fantastic.
Sit with us for a minute. Fiscal Commissioner, Independent Fiscal Commissioner, Mr. Courtney Williams.
You're blighting my future, you know. You need to stop.
Going home together.
Stop it.
Coming up June 7th, we'll celebrate this as World Food Safety Day. After the break, I'll discuss what's on your plate. Then we'll talk about it later over dinner.
No, we will not.